Welcome to r/MaliciousCompliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. The first story. Landscaper demanded I turn off my vulgar music. I complied with 2,000 watts of opera blasting Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries. The second story. My boss called me selfish for requesting PTO. I quit on the spot. Their panic? Priceless. My new job pays better, is closer, and respects my time. The third story. Lawn service enforced their 3-cut minimum. I turned their stubbornness against them. The fourth story. New management enforced a strict 9-to-5 schedule. I followed the rules and shut down an entire production line for a day. The first story is... Don't like vulgar lyrics? Okay. First, some info. This happened over 12 years ago at my family's house when I was around 21 or 22, and I was passionate about my old SUV that I had painted a metallic red with neon lights underneath, and had on 22-inch low pro chrome rims. Oh, and a decent stereo that you can hear about a quarter mile away. Our neighbors themselves paid absolutely no attention to anything going on outside their doors, though we're all friendly and any one of us would drop what we're doing to help one in need. In 20 years, you can count the conversations we've exchanged without taking off your shoes, and we all have our own little hobbies. One has chickens and goats, another keeps bees, the one across the road repairs lawnmowers, ATVs and such, and I never do anything that would normally invite onlookers. One Saturday afternoon, I was changing the oil and spark plugs on my SUV with a beer and Cheetos in our driveway, and had a little tiny speaker hooked up to my phone playing some old school rap. On that day, the neighbor lady left of us was having some landscaping and yard work done. I was rolling around under my truck on my back, elbow deep in a greasy mess and a little irritated because I had dropped that famous 10mm socket, and I see some steel-toed leather boots walking the 30 feet up to my driveway and up to my Suburban. I roll out from under my murder machine and gave the guy a very confused look. He just straight up told me to turn down my music because he didn't like vulgar and violent lyrics. It's like gospel must be the only music he ever listens to, and I know for a fact that this little speaker couldn't possibly be legible to anyone 50 feet away, especially if he's concentrated at cutting shrubs and planting flowers and such. Despite my passion, I'm not a completely male body part. I say, okay, no problem. I'll take care of it soon. Despite my passions, I'm not a complete male body part. I say, okay, no problem. I'll take care of it soon as I get my hands wiped off. Have a nice day. He stomped away in a fit, muttering something along the lines of effing white trash wannabe N-word. He was white, but an old cranky kind of white. That really sickened me. Then I had an idea. I immediately turned off my tiny speaker playing UGK, Underground Kings, and pulled out the battery jump box, put it on my truck's battery and went inside my house and got my opera CD collection, rolled down all the windows to unveil my 4 12-inch subs, and 8 6-inch mids and tweets, and put on the Valkyrie by Wagner, and unleashed the stereo's 2,000 watts, and went back under my SUV to finish draining the oil. The look on the guy's face was priceless. Guess he didn't think a white trash wannabe N-word had a taste for opera. Not usually something I bring out on a hot day of rolling around in oil, but I do enjoy it when I relax with the hi-fi in the den. After about 20 minutes, I was done with the tune-up and started up the truck, and drove it up and down the road to make sure the oil level settled. I parked back in my driveway, shutting everything down, and as I put everything away, I see the landscaping truck leaving without taking the time to close his tailgate, and by sweet karma, some of his tools rolled out as he slammed the gas pedal. I had to turn around so he wouldn't see my ear-to-ear grin. 2 days after, while taking the trash out, I waved to the neighbor lady, who was having tea on the porch, and I explained what happened and wanted to apologize if I caused her trouble with our yard artist. That sweet old lady just laughed and said he's a P anyway, and that he tells her grandson to lower the volume on his video games if he's over while he's working. I still see the same landscaping truck once in a while, so I guess he still has the contract. Update. After talking with my mother about this post, I found out that the landscaping guy was the husband of a family friend of the neighbor lady, and it wasn't his actual job, just taking care of the yard for a friend, so that may explain why he felt so entitled. The second story is, if you don't like it, you can just leave. I've been working with a home health agency for the better part of 9 months. I work 12-hour days with cases ranging from complex to simple. In that time, I've worked 11 unscheduled doubles and 42 additional 12-hour overtime shifts. I've used exactly 2 sick days, one for myself and one for my kid. I do not call out, I do not show up late, and I don't do the corner cutting they suggest. I take vacation time on my off days. I've saved them on 3 specific occasions from failing audits. I picked up so much because A, the money is nice, B, I legitimately care about the well-being of my patients, and C, they begged me. You see, the company I work for likes to take on new clients without having enough staff to cover that patient. Then they freak out and offer bonuses for us to pick up. These are governmentally contracted jobs with big DOE bucks coming in. If they can't prove the patient is taken care of, they're fined heavily. Too many fines and they're blackballed from taking new DOE clients at all. This company is so poorly run it's a joke. They have 8 schedulers, but still send mass texts every single day asking us to pick up. These happen all hours of day and night. They often double book or randomly change schedules without informing clients or nurses. They also underpay for my area. Not much, but paying $4 less per hour is a big deal. They also won't respond to your questions, calls, or texts for days or weeks at a time. I've been looking around for a while and found a company that pays more, has good leadership, and they said they'd have me on the ground running closer to home if I just went through their hiring program. I agreed and have been an employee with them for about a month. Just no hours worked yet. Back to my malicious compliance. I knew I'd be out of town for a couple of days and have 9 days worth of PTO banked. I decided to help them out and ask for 3 days off. I assumed that would give them enough time to fill my spot. I did this on September 13th. The days I requested are October 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's a mini vacation for my family since I worked all summer. Monday, I received a nasty email about the final day for PTO requests being September 10th. I let the manager know I was trying to help them out by giving them time to fill it. She shot back with how selfish of me it was to leave her short-handed. She rejected my PTO requests. Tuesday, I showed up at the office to discuss this little frustration. I mentioned my exemplary work history and intention of making things easier for them. She slammed the table with her balled fists and said, "You will work those days. I don't care if you have a trip planned to Australia, you'll be there. If you don't like it, you can just leave." It was her nasty smirk that set me off. I stood up, took a mint and said, "As you wish. I expect all my PTO to be on my next paycheck in accordance with our state's PTO laws. I hope you can fill the opening on such short notice." The look of horror on her face was more valuable than the PTO. In the past 24 plus hours, I've received 19 voicemails asking if I can come into work because they're short. Tonight is my first night with the new company. It ended up being $6 an hour more, 48 minutes each way closer to home, and I get paid 40 hours even though I worked 36. Be careful what you wish for. You may just get it. The next story is the 3-cut minimum. I've always hated mowing the lawn. At the same time, I don't want to be that neighbor, so I do my best to stay on top of the lawn. However, while I started out strong this summer, I had a series of medical issues that left me in a state that mowing was a bit too much that I could handle. Add in a few other excuses on the few remaining times I could mow, the lawn was making me look like I was the neighbor I didn't want to be. I decided I'd pay someone to mow for a change and then pick it back up once it was back under control. My first mistake was when the company I contacted had advertised a one-time cut, but when calling to schedule service, notified me they have a 3-cut minimum. I should have backed out then. I didn't. The first mower showed up and canceled the mowing, claiming my lawn was 100% over 23 inches, and as such for excessive height, and proceeded to list that they'd charge me a 500% markup for the service. The photos taken were of the few higher points in the lawn, all my front yard, with a tape measure you couldn't read the numbers off of. I was annoyed to say the least, and I tried to originally cancel here, but hit with the whole contract bid. So I told them I'd mow it and I'd just use them to end the season and take it easy. I actually only mowed the front lawn, and even then not the whole lawn. Miraculously, 2 weeks later, the mower that showed up did the whole lawn and somehow didn't see the backyard. That I left untouched was a problem. The next mowing day came and went and no one showed, so I reported it and canceled the mowing through the app. Despite canceling, someone showed up the following day. I'm annoyed and I want out, so I got into the app and tried to cancel my service again. It looks like the service was canceled and I saved screenshots. Then today I get a message saying my mower's on the way. Here's the thing, we've had a drought for the last month or so. It's the end of the season and my lawn hasn't grown even a half inch in the last 2 weeks. I am beyond furious at this point. I wait until the guy shows up. I talk to him. He's a great guy. He's a contractor for this booking company, which is what I thought was the case. He tells me he gets this all the time. He lets me know he's going to send a message to the company. I felt bad his time got wasted, but there wasn't much I could do about that. An hour later, I get a message showing I'm rescheduled for tomorrow. I'm done, so I call them up, and after speaking with one agent, I get the escalation team. He tells me my service is canceled, but I still have one mowing as per the contract. We go back and forth for a bit and he won't budge. I ask him if he would schedule snow removal in the middle of summer, so why should I schedule mowing when it isn't needed? Nothing. Fine, schedule me for June in 2047. June when, sir? June 4th, 2047. I'm sure I'll need my lawn mowed by then. We can't schedule that far in advance. He's insistent it has to be this or next year, but I keep pushing, and I remind him that I agreed to a 3-cut minimum, and nowhere in any of the conversations did the company specify a restriction on when. So I wanted to schedule it on June 4th, 2047, and he needed to schedule it to happen. One moment, sir, while I talk to support. I wait for another few minutes and then he comes back. Your service is fully canceled. No one's coming out. The fourth story is, no one leaves till 5 p.m., but no overtime? Bet. Several years ago, I worked for an aerospace manufacturing company. You already know this won't end well, as a setup operator. Meaning my job was to arrive before shift start, usually 3 or 4 hours early, make sure all the 5-axis mills were calibrated, the ATC, automatic tool changer, magazines were all loaded correctly, and the tooling was in good condition, nothing dulled or broken. If there was damaged tooling, part of the process was removing the carrier, replacing the cutter and resetting the cutter height with a gauge, making it so that the tip of every cutter is in the exact same position for that particular holder every time. After being there for several years, the company eventually gets acquired and new management comes in. I'm there from 3 or 4 in the morning until 1 or 2 p.m., sometimes earlier if a new job gets added to the floor. Schedule works fine for me. I get to beat traffic both ways, and the pay is a bit higher due to differential. After a few weeks, it gets noticed that I constantly leave early, and always run over on hours, so they implement a new policy. Work starts at 9 a.m. and runs till 5. You have to be on the floor ready to go when the clock hits 9. I try to explain to my new boss exactly why I leave early, but he's more concerned about numbers and cash flow than what I actually do there. So fine, if you want 9 to 5, I'll work till 9 to 5. Instead of punching in at 4, I chill in my car till 8:45 and roll into the building, waiting till exactly 9 and punch, then head to the floor. Roll up to the first HAS on the line and hit the E-stop, which shuts the machine down instantly. Tell the operator this hasn't been set up yet and they need to wait till it's ready. Head down the line and punch everyone I pass, telling them the same thing. Not ready, go wait. I start at the end of the line with my platinum gauges and start calibrating the entire magazine, verifying everything in there is in spec and ready to be used. Get the magazine done and home the probe so the machine knows where it is in 3D space, and move to the next. It was about 40 minutes since I took my time. Meanwhile, the rest of the line is dead in the water. Nobody can do any work until their deck passes calibration and is certified to use. I'm partway through the second unit when I have my new manager breathing down my neck. Why is nothing running? What's going on? Etc., etc. I sit back on my haunches and calmly explain to him this is my job, the one that until today I used to come in hours early to do so as not to mess with the production schedule. I need to get this done. Should be ready to start the line in another 5 or 6 hours, boss. I'm told to unlock and get the line moving. No can do. None of these machines are checked and I'm not signing off on the certification until I'm done. Anything not certified is an instant QC reject. Choose, run the line and reject $1 million in parts, or let me finish and lose $1 million in production time, and I go back to my old schedule tomorrow. The plant got a day paid to do nothing. I got the new boss off my back and he got reamed all to hell for losing a day's production. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.